Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Point Zero Games. My name is Josh, as always, and today I wanted to give you guys a rundown of the Friday pre-release event that we did for Magic 2015 core set. So to start off, we do 3 rounds whenever we do our pre-release at midnight, just so that way the guys that are running the whole operation, they can end up booting out and getting home at hopefully something of a decent hour before the next day, because that's a lot to work with. And really appreciate the Game Closet throwing the event as always. You guys knocked it out of the park on that one. We had a really good turnout. I want to say it was something like between 30 and 40 people, which is fairly good for a core set. I think M14 we saw maybe 20-ish, so definitely good. A lot of people were really excited about it. A lot of people had really cool pulls. I had a friend that pulled a foil Urborg, foil Battlefield Forge. Another buddy, Johnny, he ended up pulling a Nissa, which I played against him. And so, yeah, everybody had good pulls except me. I didn't have great pulls. I pulled a Sliver Hive Lord, but we'll talk about that in a little bit because that's special. So first, let's do a recap over the event. So after I got my box, I got the black box, which meant that I got the Indulgent Tormentor promo. Was really excited about that because that was the main promo that I wanted to get. If I couldn't get the black box, then I wanted to get the green or the red box. And I had originally started with a red box, traded the red box out for a green box because we get 1 minute to be able to trade the boxes. Traded the red for a green just to get the Fido Titan, because I figured if I got the Fido Titan and I pulled a Life's Legacy, I'd have a pretty decent combo off of that to stay in the game. And then after I got the green box, I tried one last time to see if I could get a black box, and sure enough, the guy that was next across from me, David, traded me a black box, took the green box. David, you're awesome. Thank you very much. And I owe that guy big. I owe that guy a Sliver Hive Lord. And again, I'll explain that in a little bit. So I got the black box, Indulgent Tormentor promo. My overall pulls, I'll go by color. With blue, my pulls were pretty poop. I ended up pulling 3 pieces of removal out of blue total, 2 flyers. One of them was Welkin Turn, the other one was Soul of Ravnica. The rest of it was, I had like a Frost Lynx in there and a couple of other things, so it wasn't fantastic pulls all around. I was fairly disappointed with those pulls. I didn't feel they were strong for limited. Then I checked out my red stuff. I pulled decent on the removal for that. I ended up with 3 Lightning Strikes and a Shrapnel Blast, but I didn't get any Torch Fiends, didn't get any Generator Servants, didn't get any of the Borderland Marauders. I think that's their name. They're the little 2-drop 2/2. When they attack, they get +2/+0. I didn't get any of those. I didn't get any of the Altac Bloodseeker, the uncommon. I pulled a couple of bombs in there, but they just weren't really strong bombs, so I didn't feel very comfortable with that. With white, I pulled Seraph of the Masses, which you really have to rely too heavily on creatures staying on the board for that to be a good bomb. So yeah, that just didn't end up playing out to be very good for me. The rest of my white pulls were terrible. I pulled Artifact and Enchantment Destruction with Solemn Offering, but I got like 3 meditation puzzles. It was just piss poor, man. It was real tough looking at it, and especially because after I looked at my green pulls, I really wish I had been able to go green red or green white. My green pulls were really strong, so I definitely used that. I had 2 Elvish Mystics that I pulled, 2 Ancient Silverbacks, which is a bomb in limited. It's a fantastic card. Also ended up pulling a Life's Legacy, which again, I kind of wish I had that green box to do that, but that was fine either way. And I ended up with Yisan, the Wanderer Bard, the one that Brian Fargo, the guy from in Exile, designed, and I really wanted to pull that card anyways, and I was really excited for him in limited. So I ended up pulling him and a couple of other good pulls. You guys will see what I ended up pulling. I pulled some pump and a little bit of removal from that. My black pulls were not strong, but they were good enough that I could play it. So I ended up going green black. The big pulls that I got out of the black were the Indulgent Tormentor promo. I also got an Ulcerate. I got 3 Flesh to Dusts. which it's a fairly high cost removal spell, but given that limited matches run for a lot of turns, 5-drop removal is something that I could actually afford. I pulled 2 Black Cats, Sign in Blood, Rot Feaster Maggot, which is such a game saver. Oh my god, I love that card for limited now. Pulled a Nightfire Giant. Yeah, just I pulled all kinds of nice stuff in green and black that made a really nice control-y type of deck that I was able to do some work with. So I've got my deck here still put together. I'll go over the cards with you guys and I'll show them to you so that way you guys know what I ended up getting. So I actually preface this. I broke the golden rule. I built more than 40 cards. I actually went for, I believe it was like 42, 43, just because I knew there were a couple of bombs that I needed to fit into this deck that if I didn't put them in, that I was going to be really screwed. And I also wanted to fit a couple more mid-ranges into the deck. So yeah, I ended up running like 43 cards on this. So a little heavier than I wanted to, but I ended up 2-1 for the night. So deck didn't perform terribly. And I'll go over those in a second as well. So first card I pulled and put in here was Ulcerate. It's the 1-drop instant, -3/-3, and you lose 3 life. Good removal all around. So if you pull that in limited, don't be afraid of the 3 life. You're playing black, you're going to lose life. That's the point of you doing that, because you get massive advantage from it. Next, I ended up pulling 2 Elvish Mystics. So I've got the Elvish Mystics with a nice M15 on them now. So and I love, by the way, I love the new font. It's so nice. It's crisp. It's really nice stylization. I really enjoyed that. So I'll probably end up using those in whatever green decks that I end up putting those in. Next one was 2 Black Cats. It's the 2-drop 1/1. Whenever it dies, target opponent discards a card at random. Helped a ton in just being a chump blocker against non-tramplers. Even against tramplers, I had no problem with taking a little bit of damage if it meant they got to discard one of the maybe 2 or 3 cards they had in their hand, and they didn't get to choose which one it was. I actually forced somebody to discard one of their bombs, so that was awesome. And I also made somebody the third round, somebody discarded an Aether Spouts. Saved my ass. Next, I had one of on Titanic Growth. It's 2-drop 4/4 pump. Really good. Next, I had 1 Plummet that I pulled. Needed that. People like playing blue-white flyers, so why not? Also ended up pulling a Netcaster Spider for all the flyers. He is a 3-drop 2/3 with reach, and when he blocks a creature with flying, he gets +2/+0. By the way, kills Stormbreath Dragon for a common. Really like that card. Next was Carrion Crow. He's a 3-drop 2/2 flyer. He enters the battlefield tapped, much like Tormented Hero does. Next, I pulled 2 of on Gargoyle Sentinel. Now, this is one that I was a little iffy on, but he really is a superstar. In limited play, he's really good. He's 3-drop 3/3 with Defender. You can pay 3, and then until end of turn, he loses Defender and gains Flying. So, talks about, you know, defense. The last piece of bread that I really like. Talks about evasion, and talks about aggro. Covered all 3 of those bases. Had to play him. Next was Nightfire Giant. Really only played him because he's a big body. He's a 4/4/3, so he's not big on the ass, but he can take out some of the bigger stuff that they'll be playing. Didn't run any red, so his power didn't matter. Rot Feaster Maggot. So let's talk about this guy real quick. He is a 5-drop 3/5, so he's real big on the ass. Trades with Juggernaut, by the way. When he enters the battlefield, you exile a target card from a graveyard, target creature card from a graveyard, and you gain life equal to its toughness. So I was playing this guy out whenever I knew that I was going to get low on life, and sure enough, he was saving my ass. Even if he was only getting like 3 off of something that I had, or if somebody had something bigger, doing work, just fantastic work to get me back up to a life total that was sustainable. Next, I had 3 of on Flesh to Dust. So good removal, really strong removal, and there's not a whole lot that's in the set for limited play that can actually get around Flesh to Dust, so definitely had to run that. Ancient Silverback at a 2 of. That's the 6-drop 6/5 with you pay 1 and he regenerates. Fantastic bomb in limited. He's amazing. If he didn't have the regenerate, I would be a bit more iffy about the guy. But with the regenerate, he's super good. He's really good, guys. Then last I had Siege Worm. He's a common. He's 7-drop. He has Convoke. He has Trample. He's a 5/5. Like, why not play him? You know, as a one of, you know, again, just a really nice bomb. And then I also ended up pulling 2 Radiant Fountains, so that kept my life total up just a little bit more. Helped against some of that early aggro that I had to deal with. And then for sideboard stuff, I really just played. I had a Life's Legacy over there. You know what? I don't have my. I had my Indulgent Tormentor in here as well. For some reason, I did not put it in here, but I had my Indulgent Tormentor promo, which is the 5-drop 5/3 demon. Beginning your upkeep, sack a creature. Draw a card unless opponent sacks a creature or pays 3 life. So sideboard, a couple of things that I ended up running. One was a Paragon of Eternal Wilds. Mainly I wanted to run Paragon of Eternal Wilds just because if I needed to get trample on stuff, as well as needing to have just a little bit of extra on the ass. I would have run it main board, but I would have had to get rid of some piece of removal or one of my mid drops that I think would have ended up helping a bit more. I also ended up running Phyrexian Revoker in my sideboard. I ended up pulling that guy. So I ran him in the sideboard also just to see if they had any activatable abilities. There's the Indulgent Tormentor, by the way. That card is beautiful. I love it. And then I also had Gravedigger that I pulled, so I put him in the sideboard in case somebody had decent removal. So just basically stuff that was going to bring creatures back from the graveyard. I was basically running a Golgari Dredge deck for the most part. And it worked well. Like I said, I ended up going 2-1. So match recap real quick. First match I went against Blue White Flyers, lost that. They were long games, and he played it really well. He was playing, you know, really close to the vest on a lot of stuff, and he did incredibly well. I don't remember what his name was. I'm sorry. Second one that I played was Black White with Splash Green, only for, I believe it was, I know Nissa was in it, and I think Elvish Mystic was in it. That was my buddy Johnny. And I ended up getting that in 2. It was really long matches. We were putting stuff on the board that was really trading. There was a point where he had one 4/4 elemental on the board alongside a Preeminent Captain and the Selfless whatever. Say it's the 1-drop, pay 2, sack it. All creatures you get get +1/+1. Meanwhile, I had a Yisan the Wanderer Bard with Oppressive Rays on it, which pretty much happened every damn time he hit the board. A Nightfire Giant, the Gargoyle Sentinel, and an Elvish Mystic. And there was a point where he went to swing with the Elemental, which had Rogue's Gloves attached to it, which was getting him a lot of card draw because I was willing to take, you know, 1 damage here, 1 damage there. So he swung with that for 4. He swung with the Preeminent Captain for the 2. And I figured he was going to sack it, you know, and he would give them all +1/+1. So I double blocked with Yisan the Wanderer Bard and Nightfire, and then I blocked with the Gargoyle Sentinel. He did not sack it, even though he had the 2 mana open. Went ahead and killed out Yisan and left the Nightfire available. Killed out his own creature, which he didn't realize going in, I think. And then also killed off the Preeminent Captain, so he didn't have any more aggro on the board, and then just started swinging at him. So that was a really interesting play, where I thought he was going to turn it into a 6/6 or a, you know, a 5/5 or whatever, and try to take out as much of my force as he possibly could, but he didn't bother doing it. So it was really interesting. So I got that in 2. Last match I played against Izzet Color, it was blue-red. Right at the beginning, he basically said that his creature base wasn't super great. He had a lot of control and a lot of removal, and he definitely did. He was the only match that I ever saw Indulgent Tormentor last longer than 2 turns, and I even missed one of my triggers on him because I just wasn't thinking about it. But I did get a trigger on him. He let me draw a card rather than, he actually let me take that back. He took the 3 life. He didn't want me to draw the card. So he took 3 life, and it ended up turning real bad for him on the first round. We were kind of back and forth. Second round, he ended up just getting into a Mana Pocket, and I was able to pop out Ancient Silverback, the Indulgent Tormentor, and Nightfire, and just start swinging at him. So It was a good round. You know, he got mono screwed on the second one, and that was it. It was you know, a whole lot of fun. I love doing limited play. I just really wish that my pulls had been a little bit stronger in some of the particular areas that I like a bit more, because I like running really fast decks, and I just could not, for the life of me, run a fast deck with this. So the rares that I pulled out of my black box, out of my pre-release box, I got the Phyrexian Revoker. Then I also pulled the Necromancer Stockpile. I don't play zombie stuff, so not really that big of a deal for me, but I'm sure there's somebody that plays Commander that's willing to trade. Indulgent Tormentor promo. Super stoked about that. Love that. Gonna go into the Grixis deck most likely. Gonna probably see play in my bug deck, maybe, I don't know. Yisan the Wanderer Bard. I really like the card. I just, man, it's one of those things in Standard I don't know if I can viably say 3 mana is good for that card. Maybe 2, but I don't know about 3. Life's Legacy, which I mentioned I had gotten that. Wish I had gotten a Phyto Titan. Would have been awesome to play that combo. And finally, I also got a Soul of Ravnica. Like I said, it was one of the 2 flyers that I pulled in blue. The problem is I didn't feel like the specials on it were really strong for me because I really only had one type of permanent, and that was creatures. I do know that Nathan, he ended up playing a Grixis deck. He played 3-color Grixis deck because he pulled Jace, Soul of Ravnica, like he just Urborg and something else. Like he just pulled ridiculous. So good job to him. You notice I didn't have a Sliver Hive Lord over there. Here, the reason why that I don't have a Sliver Hive Lord is because there was a guy that was up there that played M15 pre-release, and he has a buddy that really only wants slivers. Now, I was going to trade David, the guy that traded me the black box, I was going to trade him the Sliver Hive Lord for a Llanowar Waste that he had pulled, because green-black is something that I play within. Even though I knew that I was going to be losing out some money on that trade. That's fine. He's a good friend of mine. I don't care about stuff like that in those conditions sometimes. However, this guy came up and he said, I will trade you my entire M15 box, all the pulls that I got for that Sliver Hive Lord. So I sat down and looked through his trade, through the stuff that he pulled. And I'm not going to say like it was super great pulls, but there was easily $15 worth of value out of just getting that box. And so I had to talk to David, and I was like, dude, I got to do this. And he's like, I understand. And so David, as I said before, when I buy my box of M15, anytime after that, whatever, if I pull a Sliver Hive Lord, he is all yours. You know, I'm not going to use it. I will hand it over free of charge to you. You don't have to worry about trades or anything, man, because thank you for letting me do this trade. It picked me up a couple of extra rares, and some of them in particular that I wanted, like Indulgent Tormentor. So I've got 2 of those now. Really excited about that. A Return to the Ranks, which I don't really care for in Limited, maybe. It seems okay, but in Standard, like, that card seems like it could be really, really strong for white humans. Promo Siege Dragon. Sure, cool. He's a 7-drop 5/5 flyer. Maybe he'll fit somewhere in Standard, I don't know. Another Siege Dragon, regular one. He also had a Burning Anger. Think this card is really cool and could see play in green-red Standard. Possibly even in Jund, just as a way to have removal for when some of the other stuff starts rotating out. Really cool card, and at a 5-drop that splashes in due to the only 1 red mana needed. That's pretty sick, dude. You could use Xenagos to even get that guy out pretty quick. And another Life's Legacy. So pulled 2 of those. I've got 2 of those. Got 2 Siege Dragons, 2 Indulgent Tormentors. So I couldn't complain about those pulls. The 2 packs that I ended up winning, I pulled a Goblin Rabblemaster, which I don't have. I actually traded that off for a Master of Predicaments. I really like this guy. I think he's super cool. I'm hoping that I can fit him somewhere in a deck. At a 5-drop, I mean, it's him or Prognostic Sphinx, and I mean, Prog Sphinx is a little bit stronger, but I still like the gamble of that card. I'm going to find some stupid deck to put it in. Maybe mix it in with like some Possibility Storm or something. Somebody figure that one out. You guys do that. Figure out Possibility Storm and like Riddle of Lightning and Knowledge of Power in that card. Figure out a way to make that broken. It seems cool. And Stain the Mind, a.k.a. the new Slaughter Games, a.k.a. the new Memoricide, a.k.a. the new Surgical. Like, it's is Slaughter Games with Convoke. I can make it cheaper. I can make it less than a 4-drop. It's a 5-drop right now. Slaughter Games is a 4-drop. The only difference, Slaughter Games can't be countered by spells or abilities. This can, but whatever. If I can turn this into, you know, a 3-drop, that's still, you know, pretty fantastic for me. So yeah, and then I also ended up grabbing a Darksteel Citadel out of the stuff that he had, and a couple other things. But overall, those were the rares. Those were the matches. It was a really good night. You know, I don't know what else to say. You know, it was you know, it was cool getting to see so many new faces. It was cool getting to see a lot of old faces. We went out to eat beforehand, you know, like 10 of us or so, and had a good time talking about some limited stuff. I'm really sorry that Patrick Cosgrove, unfortunately, was not able to make it. He had to work, and everybody's been giving him hell about it. Patrick, you should go to pre-release. So yeah, that's it. How did you guys do at your pre-releases? I don't know why I stalled on that question at all. I literally have no idea. It's late, man. Like, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm ready to go to bed. So yeah, that's the video. That's the recap. Comment question, you know, talk to us. Let us know. How did you do at the pre-release? What did you end up running? What good polls did you end up getting? Also, make sure that you give us some comments down below. Not my nipples, but down below in the comment section down there. And that will, you know, allow us to interact with you and talk with you. We like answering your questions. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we like talking to you. Also, there's a subscribe and a like button that's right around down here. Go ahead and hit both of those buttons. Liking the video lets us know that you want to see more of this, besides the analytics that I get to look at every day. And apparently you guys like these pre-release videos. But subscribing will make sure that you get access to all the newest videos that come into our channel first. Actually, all of you can access it at the same time, but you guys will know before anybody else. And that's really it. My name is Josh. This is Point Zero Games. We appreciate all the support, guys, and I hope the rest of your pre-release weekend goes fantastic. Unless this gets posted on Monday, then I hope that your pre-release weekend was fantastic. Peace.